Hi, I just wanted to get on here really quickly and first of all, thank you for stopping by and watching my YouTube video. And secondly, I want to thank Courtney and Mary and Jen for doing this encouragement blog. So please watch my video and move on to the next one. I hope you enjoy my really simple card and I hope you stick around. I promise to get videos up, probably not very consistently, but I will get them up. Thanks again for watching and have a great day. Hi everyone. This is the really simple card we'll be making today and I hope you enjoy it. Please stay to the end as there will be a couple announcements. Everything will also be listed in the description below. Here's what you'll need for the card. The Concord and 9 Star Turnabout stamp, and it comes with both stamps. The Concord and 9 Shine On stamps and dies. This is the die that we'll be using. Again, Concord and 9 Shine On stamps and dies. This is the die. And then here's the stamp set. We'll be using Bright and Let Your Light Shine. Then we'll be using this cardstock, which is for the card base, Gina K in the navy. It's a really good quality, super smooth, and very heavyweight card. Then for the white, we'll be using the Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock. Versamark watermark stamp pad, EK Success powder tool, Lawn Fawn glue tube, sorry it's out of focus, Lawn Fawn rose gold embossing powder, a stamp block, acrylic stamp block, Creative Corner L ruler by Misty, Sweet Petunia, and this is a Misty regular size by Sweet Petunia. And my Gemini Junior, which I love, Heart, Heart, Heart. This is my heating tool, and it's from Wagner, and I got it from Lowe's. My Wagner normally that I use died, so I just bought this one. Okay, first we'll be stamping the turnabout stamps, but we won't be using it as a turnabout. We'll just be stamping it once. So I'm just putting it, marking the X, which I had before. But it doesn't really matter because we won't be using it as a turnabout. Like I said, we'll only be stamping it once. I like using my Misty tool to stamp everything. Just in case it messes up, I can do it again. I'm inking it up with my Versamark stamp as I'll be embossing using my Lawn Fawn Rose Gold embossing powder. So make sure it gets nice and the image is nice and good. And I will be using the embossing powder and I'll be heating it up soon. The whole video is sped up 3 times, so it looks really quick. But if you have any questions or comments, please list them below and I'll answer if it's going too fast for you. Now I'll be bringing in my heat gun. It has 2 settings, low and high. I'm using the high. The temperature is pretty hot, so I do it from the front and the back, so it eliminates as much warping as possible. But I really like this tool. It's very quiet. Okay, that's done. Now I left this in because I didn't like the way this turned out, but we'll be die cutting the shine from the same rose gold embossing powder background. So I just used my Versamark, and on Nina 80 pound, I just put it on, and I'll be making sure that it covers the shine die cut so I could cut it out. So I did it this way first, and then I die cut it out. But as you can see, when I try to take it apart, it kind of tears on me. And I'll show that later on. So I left it in so you can see that it's not a good idea to do it that way. So it was a little difficult to take it off the die. I think a remedy is that I could have stamped the die or inked the die with Versamark, and it would have released a lot better. So now I didn't show you, but what I did was I cut it out, and then I put some tape on the back, a quick release tape. You can see the tear there. And then I used the Versamark and inked it up, and then put the powder. So it's already cut and easy to come apart. No tearing. So that worked a lot better. This is another thing that I was going to do, but I trashed. So ignore that peach card. So now I'm going to stack my dies so that it has a little more, so it's a little deeper. So I will do that 4 times on white Nina cardstock, 80 pounds again. And I'll stack them up and glue them together, as you'll see in a little bit. I left it in the negative so that it keeps its, I guess, shape. Yeah, it keeps its shape. Sorry, I can't talk today. I appreciate you hanging in with me because this video is not very easy to do. So thank you for being patient. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. So now I'm taking it apart, and because it's holding its shape, I can just leave it off. This layer, I had a hard time, and it's a little bit off, but it still worked. So I kept it. I didn't want to start over. And I'm sorry that it's out of frame when I'm putting it together. But this is where I had a little difficulty, so I had it closer to me. So, but again, apologies for it being out of the frame. And now I'm putting the last layer, which is the embossed portion. I'm using the Lawn Fawn glue tube. I like using a wet glue for this. You can see that the shine above, it's slightly off, but it still worked. Once I put that top layer on, it's very hard for you to see that it's off. Okay, now I'm going to stamp and emboss the bright. Same Versamark and same rose gold. I try to keep this card very simple. I'm using that star as the dot for the eye. I forget what it's called. Tilde? I don't know. I forget what it's called. Tittle, I think. But anyway, you can't see it, but I'm using the Creative Corner L ruler to make sure that it's lined up straight. Again, using the Versamark to ink my stamp. And I put that shine on top so I could see where I wanted to line this one up. I forgot to use my powder tool, So you'll see that the powder gets where I don't want it, and I'm using my Tim Holtz tonic pick to clean it up a little bit. I'm heating it up with my heat tool, and I didn't get as good coverage as I wanted, so I'm going to be stamping it again with the embossing powder. I'm sorry, with the Versamark and then the embossing powder. This time I'm remembering to use the EK Success powder tool. It warped a little bit, so I just had to make sure that it was on the corner so I could stamp it exactly the same. And I didn't move the stamp, so it's still going where it was the first time. So now I'm going to put the embossing powder once more, and I should get a very much better coverage. And because I used the powder tool, there's no sticking. Okay, I always have to put the powder away right away, or else I'll spill it. Now I'm using the card base Gina case in the navy. It's 8.5 by 11, and I'm going to cut it in half. So I'm cutting it at the 5.5, and I'll score it at the 4.25. And I'm also cutting this down to size. It was an A2, which was 4.25 by 5.5, but I'm cutting it to 4 and 5.25, and I'll mount it on top. So now I'll be scoring the base at 4.25 using my Teflon bone folder. All the materials I use will be linked below. I'm using a foam, fun foam, instead of the foam tape. So it's more economical, although I have one of those big honking rolls of the foam tape. So I am using, again, the Lawn Fawn glue tube to put the back of the foam board, fun foam, so that it has some dimension. And now I'll be using the same glue to put the shine onto the card. And again, I'll be using that star as the dot for the eye. And it has a little dimension because I did stack it up. And now I'll be putting this onto the card base. And it has a slight navy. Sorry, it's hard to see because it's a black background, but it has a slight navy border. And now I'm going to use Let Your Light Shine, and just will be putting that on the inside. This is an encouragement card hop, so I just wanted to send this away so that people will use it and be encouraged. Everyone has a light shine, a shine to light. Make sure that you go to my shop and get 20% off. Use the discount code encouragement, and the next blog hop person will be linked in my description below, as well as my link to my shop. I really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. Mahalo. Thanks. This is Sin.